I have recently read The Monkey, the wicked short story written in 1980 by Stephen King, and I don't scribble words like wicked on a script lightly, because the story that I just read was truly wicked. But the short story is not exactly the thing that I'm going to be talking about for this video. Not about how great of a short thriller horror it is, or was, or about how it influenced future Stephen King works, or even about its film adaptation that I'm definitely hyped for, just on the sole reason that the Longlegs director Austin Perkins himself is directing it. Not about all that, though we'll get around those later in this video. But what I'm here for, and what I'm going to be talking about, is that freaking toy that started it all. At least for me. How this little innocent partly stuffed with springs and cogs circus monkey sneaked its way to the most referenced stuffed animal in pop culture, seen in almost all of media, that if you don't look twice, you wouldn't even notice that it was there all along. And when you get that shot of realization hitting your face, you would start to feel like you're being spied on, like something invaded your privacy, hidden in the corner of your subconscious. Now, I'm just a tad exaggerating this fact, but there's a reason for it. Because I myself sort of had that very experience when I found out that the monkey was there, just hidden. It all started in the late 2024. I decided to write my own short story collection, and as of today, I'm currently about to do so. I have 2 short stories written out of 15. Early in this process, I ventured on buying a couple of ebooks and physical copies of short story collections, and 2 in particular copies is Stephen King's Nightmare and Dreamscapes and Skeleton Crew. As I explored how certain authors, including King, wrote their shorts, I binged along the pages, hopped from shorts to shorts, and finally read The Monkey. The short story was great and intriguing within its concept. I really enjoyed it, from beginning, middle, and end. However, the ending is very straightforward for my taste, but the beginning and the middle were peak. Amazing standout, really. And by this time, this toy, this furred up stuffed animal is printed in my mind and imagination. And as I finished the story, a frame of a toy monkey flashed in the back of my mind. To get to the point faster, it was an image of a Toy Story 3 scene with that exact stuffed animal monkey with propped up cymbals and bulging hazel dead eyes. The image sort of scared me, even more when I looked it up. The monkey was there. It was real. I went into this spiral self-recap of how many times this messed up circus toy appeared in my favorite movies and TV shows. Now, I couldn't voluntarily go through the years, but the most recent one was in Stranger Things Season 3, tagging its symbols as if it's alive. And that made me start to think, how many times did this monkey appeared on my favorite entertainment media? Like, how many franchises did this toy appear in? And I'm still in shock at what I found out. Let's take a look at the day this toy monkey was first made and what was its original function as a children's toy. The cymbal banging monkey toy is called the Jolly Chimp, a novelty toy that dates back to 1932, produced by Lewis, Mark & Co. This Jolly Chimp toy required a wind-up key in its back in order for it to activate its screws and cogs and make it alive with sounds of metal tanging. It was named Hoppo the Waltzing Monkey because it bears the whimsical attributes of a musical, innovative, dancing, singing circus monkey. However, the toy didn't rise to popularity among the public until post-World War II in the 1950s and 60s, for another country on its global manufacturing stride, that is Japan. This era was marked as the golden age of Japanese tin toys, slowly healing the public from the horrors of the war by fascinating them with mechanic, moving robotic toys. It invited innovative designs and mass production all over the country, as industrial mechanical development reached its peak, not just in Japan but in the United States as well. However, a toy company in Japan, Masuduya, led the production of all these Jolly Chimp toys with high quality conditions and at a fair price for all. Practically, they owned the very design of the monkey and carried it on for years. And later on, various toy companies yearned for their own version of this toy, following a trend that lasted about 2 decades until all variants of the monkey reached a point of a simpler, straightforward design. Some were battery powered, and most stuck with their original design with a wind-up activation. Now about who made it of it all, despite Macedonia being the arrow that points to the case, nobody really knows. Even me, after intensive research, nobody really knows. It's really a common thing in the toy making industry that the owner or the inventor is not really named at all. But for me, that's what makes it scary as it is intriguing. The very purpose of this toy is solely to entertain, to distract people from the memories of the horrifying aftermath of World War II, bringing joy to the children and to adults back then. But it's crazy to me how something old like a toy becomes something nostalgically terrifying and creepy. I mean, just like in the short story The Monkey by Stephen King, no one knows where the monkey came from, just the who. But even knowing that, you'd be left with a question, who gave it to said person that gave it to you, the character? Now, it's just a toy. A toy, this hunk of plastic and metal slowly formed by association over time in decades, waltzing its direction that accumulates unpleasant association of a forgotten era, reviving its wonders and terrors through the present, aka our view of modern life makes forgotten old life seem creepy and unconventional. That's just it, right? But how, in an almost unwanted invasion, the monkey, the Jolly Chimp, made its way into becoming a horror icon in pop culture? No. Sneak its way into popular culture. If we take a look at the monkey short story written by the one and only, the toy is described as it is described in the real world, just 10 times scarier because the story goes back and forth from past to present from the perspective of a child to full-grown adults. I would now consider this spoilers, however, slightly, because this wouldn't really hurt your reading experience, I assure you. The story follows Hal Shelburne, who discovers in a shocking, terrifying manner that an old, cymbal-clapping monkey toy mysteriously found its way back to him somehow. Now this is the present-time adult Hal, because he first encountered the monkey toy when he was a child with his younger brother Bill, while rummaging through boxes in the attic that once was owned by his father, their father. I think this part of the story symbolizes the longing for fatherhood, as their father, unlike the monkey, left his 2 sons and never came back. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The toy, which he remembers from his childhood, has a sinister history. From first impression alone, Hal, the younger Hal, can sense something unusual about this piece of metal and plastic he held in his hands. It looked like a regular animated mechanical toy, but there was something off about it, an ineffable aura to it, as if it waited for Hal and his brother Bill to find him inside his father's boxes. And you know what they say, once you found something, it stays with you forever. Remember that, as I'll get back to it later. Not long after, Hal slowly discovers that the monkey seems to appear whenever he's around. You see, he puts it back in the box because he disliked the look of it, how it made him feel, but somehow he found it in his arms the next day, next to his bed when he's asleep, at the top of his dresser, or even at the shelf, conveniently watching his bedroom door. He couldn't stop getting the feeling that this was watching him. The monkey's hazel eyes felt like burning aspiration of something bad, very bad. And somehow, even Hal couldn't explain why he did it, but he winded up the key at the back of the monkey. At first, it didn't work. Nothing happened. It broke. It was broken. Or so he thought. And then we fast forward to when it did work. The propped up cymbals singing, the monkey's mouth moving, and not long after that, almost immediately, Hal realized that whenever it claps its cymbals, someone nearby dies under mysterious circumstances.
What the fuck?
To me, that's a hard little concept. I mean, a serial killer toy giving children nightmares and preventing them from buying more toys and so that parents don't have to spend like 1,000 pesos or $50 worth of toy. It's really convenient and really, if you tell this to your children, if it works, then it works. Then if it not, then you keep buying more toys. But I digress. As more and more people around Hal kept dying for mysterious circumstances, he quickly learns that it was the monkey, and quickly gets rid of it. But as the opening of the story clearly puts it, the monkey made its way back to him, at the exact box that he first found the serial killer toy. This time, it was his children who found it. How the monkey behaved in the short story is nothing different from real life. All it took for me is to read this little Stephen King short story in his Skeleton Crew short story collection, learn about the infamous monkey toy, and fully realize one thing. How the monkey behaved in the short story is nothing different from real life. I mean, all it took for me was to read this little Stephen King short story in his short story collection from Skeleton Crew and learn about the infamous monkey toy to fully realize one thing. I've seen this monkey before. Now, there are no clear facts that points to the monkey's truest first appearance in pop culture. Some say in movies from the 50s or 60s, but one fact stands prominent, that this toy was referenced to represent the imagery of creepiness to unsettle audiences. Almost as if Hal found the very toy that gave the people in the 50s a strong case of the creeps. It really puts me into a spiral I can't really shake off. Somehow, the monkey that was portrayed in the short story is an accurate depiction of how the real-life monkey toy found its way into the consciousness of many people, almost as if haunting us through appearing in TVs or movies. Again, Stranger Things Season 3. Annabelle comes home.
The curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked.
The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 4.
I know it's easy for your mind to wander.
Or even Toy Story 3, where the monkey plays a prominent role playing as a CCTV surveillance officer, literally watching everyone in the movie. I'm going to be watching The Monkey opening week for sure. I can't miss it for the world. But it goes to show how something like a toy made to distract the horrors that was World War II to making us uneasy with its unmoving hazel eyes. The impact, however subtle, this toy monkey made in pop culture will forever fascinate me. It's a phenomenon so strange and peculiar that you can't help but just to be intrigued. Maybe it's me, watching so many TVs and movies, and it's my fault that I cursed myself from the clutches of the monkey, but then again, once you found something, it stays with you forever.